Before we get into this video, I want to talk about something that I've noticed in my own life. Right now, I run a business that does over $1 million a year. I've got a small team of people I trust, we've got projects moving, and there's always something to work on. And from the outside, it probably looks like everything is constantly moving forward and in a great direction. But the truth is, even when things are going well, there are still moments where I catch myself drifting. I'll look at my phone and there are messages coming in, problems to solve, opportunities to chase, decisions to make. Like there's just always more work to do. And yet sometimes I feel stuck. Not because there's nothing happening, but because sometimes the direction isn't clear. Sometimes you're working hard, but you're not sure if you're actually moving forward the way that you want to. And when I first noticed that feeling, it surprised me because when you imagine success, you assume that once things start working, that feeling disappears, but it doesn't. And that made me realize something important, that feeling stuck isn't always about your situation, it's all about momentum. Most people don't ruin their lives with one massive mistake. That's not usually how it happens. What actually happens is much quieter. Days pass, weeks pass, months pass, and slowly realize that nothing in your life has really changed. You're just doing the same exact things, thinking the same thoughts, living the same routines, and suddenly an entire year goes by. And then next year, the same exact thing happens. That's the real trap, guys. Not failure, but drifting. And it's so easy to drift in 2026 where we have social media, we have distractions. Every major corporation is just trying to capture your attention. Most people think that their life is stuck because they're lazy, but that's not usually the truth. Most people are stuck because they just stop challenging themselves. That's it. Comfort feels safe in the moment, but if you stay there too long, it slowly starts killing your potential. And that over time is extremely detrimental to your well being because you don't want to live a life of regret, wondering what if. Comfort is one of the most dangerous things in life. Not because it feels bad, but because it feels good enough. Think about it. You wake up, you're going through your routine, you watch some videos, scroll your phone, repeat. Nothing's technically wrong, but nothing's improving either. And when you stay in that space long enough, your potential slowly fades without you even noticing. Here's something I also realized recently. Watching other people build their lives is not the same thing as building your own. At some point, you have to stop consuming everything and actually start doing something. This could be with money and improving your personal finance, maybe improving your health and going to the gym. It might be starting a YouTube channel. There's never a right answer. You have to just be doing something. That is the most important thing. It's actually one of the reasons that I started this channel. Not because I think I have everything figured out, but because I didn't want to keep sitting on ideas. I didn't want to keep thinking about things I could do. I wanted to actually build something, even if the audience is small and even if the progress is slow, because creating something changes the way you think. And look, I've put hours into editing videos and, making this content for you guys. And, some of these videos are only getting 10 views, 20 views. I'm not making any money. I'm spending so much time doing it without seeing a reward, but at least I'm doing something. So even if you fail, you can't fault the person for at least trying. And whatever it is in your life, it doesn't even have to be just starting a YouTube channel. Trying is better than doing nothing at all. And you don't ruin your life with one big mistake, like I mentioned. It's not usually how it happens. It's all about just slowly drifting until years pass and nothing actually changed. Because you gotta realize that momentum is one of the most powerful forces in life. Once you start moving forward, things start building. You get better, you learn faster, and then all of a sudden, opportunities start appearing. But when you stop moving, everything slows down. That's why action matters so much, even small action. Like I keep saying, you gotta just do something. And the hardest part of improving your life is the beginning. Because in the beginning, nothing feels like it's working. I mean, think about it. You go to the gym, nothing happens in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. Still, you look the exact same. But the people who keep going long enough are usually the ones who eventually see the results. And this doesn't just apply to the gym. This literally applies to every aspect of your life. So in addition to the momentum, I also want to hit on consistency because it's not just about making actions. Obviously, actions are the first step, but consistently doing it long enough, even when it's boring, it's all about the discipline that regardless of what the outcome is, you just keep showing up. And people always think that success comes from a huge moment. And I'll even tell you, when I've built my business, it's that it doesn't look like that. It just doesn't work that way because most of the time, what it comes from is just small actions repeated over and over. you know, going to the gym 3 times a week, reading 10 pages a day, not a whole book. You're not reading a whole book a day, just 10 pages a day, uploading one video every week, practicing a skill consistently. Like, these things feel small because they are, but over time they compound into something very, very powerful. Consistency sounds boring, but it's actually one of the most powerful forces in life because it applies to everything. If you do something small every day for a year, you'll end up miles ahead of the version of you that just kept waiting and, stayed comfortable, same routine, no change. One thing I've noticed is that most people, they're not afraid of failing. They're afraid of failing in front of other people. They're afraid of looking stupid. They're afraid of posting something online and having people judge them, myself included. For the longest time, I had that mentality, and I had it for years, from the age of like 17, 18. I'm 23 now. This is what, 5, 6 years. But now that I actually started doing something, even though there haven't been results, I'm just wondering, what if I started without caring what other people think about me? How far would I have been in the journey, having 5 or 6 years of experience, if I stayed consistent, if I was disciplined enough to continue? The truth is that just most people, I think, are too busy worrying about their own lives to spend time judging yours. And, every now and then you'll have a hater with everything you do. But that is the cost of personal development and improvement in whatever it is, whether you're trying to improve your finances, you'll tell your friends that you have this business idea and, they're happy where they are, they're comfortable. They're going to tell you that, like, oh no, you're crazy, it's never going to work out. But you never know. That is why I always try to tell people is, like, if you have this idea in your head that you want to do something, get after it, chase your goals, because I chase mine and my life is way better than most of those people. And another thing is that the hate never comes from the top. It's always people below you and who are doing less. Those are the people that always have something to say, that they don't believe that it could be done. But then when you talk to the people who actually go out and achieve everything, they're rooting for you. The strongest guy in the gym, you could be fat, out of shape, he's going to be there cheering you on. It's usually the people that, aren't doing that much progress, that are saying, oh, it'll never work, and all that stuff. And I think most people are just afraid of failing publicly. They're afraid that people will see them trying something new. But again, the truth is that just, people are just too busy worrying about their own lives. So trying something and failing isn't the real risk. The real risk is waiting so long that you never try at all. Because years later, those thoughts will come back. And I even, like, I'm telling you guys this from personal experience. What if I started earlier? What if I actually stuck with it? What if I actually tried and really applied myself? That's the kind of regret that stays with people. And I'm promising you, on your deathbed, you will not care that, someone judged you temporarily, because people forget that life continues. But, that thought of, oh, what if I actually did this? Like, that is the worst part, and you don't want that to happen. So, trying something and failing is not the worst outcome. The worst outcome is wondering years later what could have happened if you actually tried. And look, your future life isn't created in one big moment. I think that's been made apparently clear in this video, that it's built slowly by the things that you're repeating every single day. That is why it's all about your habits, your routines, your day-to-day decisions. Those things quietly will shape the direction of your life. And your future life is being built by the things that you repeat every day and by the decisions that you make today. Not the things you think about, not the things you plan, the things that you actually do. Now, if you feel like your life has been stuck in the same place for a while, you're not alone. A lot of people feel that way, myself included. It's part of the reason why I started this channel, is for me to foster this community of like-minded individuals who want to have a better life. The difference between staying stuck and moving forward usually comes down to just one decision, and that's just starting. Not perfectly, but just starting. If you want to change your life, you don't need some massive overnight transformation. You just need to start moving in a different direction. And if you're someone who wants to level up your life and actually build something meaningful, this channel is for you. This is Mind of G, and we're just getting started. If you enjoyed the video, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you guys on the next one.